So what I do, and I think everybody should do it, it's just I post every day. Like now it's not free; it costs you $5, but it's still you get a good ROI. Because let's say if I post daily, Monday to Friday, that's 20 days. That 20 times 5, that's $100 in ad budget. And I promise you, you can get more than $1,000 worth in jobs out of that easily.
Welcome to another UpFlip episode where we interview successful entrepreneurs and business owners that started from nothing and now live the lives of their dreams. I'm your host, Alex Freeman, and today we're interviewing Cristobal Mondragon. You might know him from our recent YouTube interview where he spilled the beans on how he raked in $1.5 million in revenue in 2021 with his cleaning company called Queen Bee Cleaning Services. Cristobal started his business in 2015 with only $5,000 and was able to scale from 0 to 25 employees in just a little over 5 years. In this episode, we'll dive deeper into his success story and share some nuggets of gold with you. Not only that, but we'll get to know more about the mistakes he made in his business, how he managed to rake in $3.2 million in collective sales, and what are his plans for the future. In this episode, you'll also hear a number of questions from our fans. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. Cristobal, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so happy.
Yeah, for those of our audience members that don't know, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you started Queen Bee Cleaning Company and how your recent interview got over 100,000 views on our YouTube channel. If you haven't checked that out, by the way, go to UpFlip on YouTube. Check out that video. It is fantastic. Tell us also how that might have affected your business.
Yeah, my wife was the one who started or planted the seed of, let's start our own business. I was selling cars at the time at a local dealership, making good money. So I when she first suggested to me, I said, I don't know. I don't see myself cleaning. But she was insistent. She's like, hey, just help me with answering the phone calls. That's all and I'll do the jobs. And I said, okay, well, I can do that. And so, yeah, that was January 2015. March, I was just looking at the numbers again last night. And March, she brought 18,000. So by the third month, I was like, wow, there's actually money to be made in this business. And at that point, I quit business, quit my car sales job, and I decided to go just full throttle. And yeah, so I think the first year we did $196,000 the very first year. So yeah, being very blessed. And then to answer the other question, yes, that video we just shot a few weeks ago, literally 2 weeks ago. So many people have reached out to me for mentoring, for advice. I'm very blessed. I'm very happy, with the outcome, and I couldn't be happier. You guys are fantastic.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And we always appreciate having you on the YouTube and now here on the podcast. I'm sure we'll have you back in both places in the future to talk more. As you said in the YouTube interview, the last time we talked, it's important to know your numbers.
That's right.
How do you track your numbers and stay on top of that side of the business? What tools and systems are you using?
Yeah, so essentially what I like to track, it's fairly simple, but it's a few numbers. What I want to track, it's how many leads we get on a given month, right? And then how many people book service out of those leads. And then out of those people who book service, who actually becomes a recurring customer, meaning monthly or bi-weekly. If you pay attention to those numbers, I mean, you can really make very informed decisions based on data and not just on your hunch. When I started, I was kind of like, I'm going to do this. I was making too many changes without really looking at my numbers. And it wasn't until like 3 years ago that I said, you know what? I know we're growing, but I don't know where my money is. And I just keep spending, right? And so I kind of took a step back and I started kind of tracking the numbers that matter, right? How many leads are we getting in the month? How many are converting? What can we do to improve that conversion rate? Should we spend more on marketing this month or should we adjust it? Literally, you have to look at your numbers on a monthly basis and come up with a plan for the following month.
As you kind of dive into those numbers and you make a tweak of some kind, how long do you give that tweak before you make a determination of if it was the right move or the wrong move?
Fairly soon. So I can definitely notice within the month to see whether it was a good move or not. And then based on that, I continue with that change I made, or I just I improve in something else. For a business of our size, right? One of the things that I want to control the most is the churn rate. Churn rate essentially means the amount of customers you lose in a given month. It happens all the time, and in my industry, it's about 4% monthly churn rate. So if I could drop that to a 3%, that will significantly improve my growth over the year. So it's just little changes like that, but you really have to look at the numbers and be very pay a lot of attention to them so you can make really good decisions. Because even one false decision at this size of business, it can really cost you thousands of dollars.
Why are Yelp, Facebook, and Google your go-to ad sites, and what do these platforms specifically offer to small businesses?
Great question, Alex. So I have tried literally every platform out there, and I can with certainty tell you that Google is the number one, Facebook's right behind it, and Yelp supports that. I've tried Thumbtack. That's how I started. I started with Craigslist. Craigslist was like the one thing that was free. It was easy to post. Let's do that. That got me going. And then, but that can only get you to a certain level. So I started looking into marketing, paid ads. I tried Home Advisor, and it worked. Actually, to be honest, the very first year that I hired Home Advisor, I was actually getting a lot of leads, and a lot of them were converting. So I was actually happy with the service. But then, more companies they're bringing more companies into the platform. Essentially, it's a share lead program. And I started noticing that, I will reply to these leads and nobody will buy from me anymore. And they were costing me, $50 per lead. So I reach out to them, say, hey, something's going on. I'm reaching out to these leads. They're not working. They're like, no, you have to respond faster. I'm like, I'm in front of the computer. How fast can I do that? But, and so I decided to stop them. Then I went to Thumbtack. It's kind of like the same situation. They're based on credits. I made I got some customers out of that. Then I tried Facebook by itself. If you do it by Facebook ads by itself, it's very hard to get traction there. You have to combine it. I think Google and Facebook, when you combine those two, people search for your service on Google. They find you, they click on it, and they might not convert for whatever reason. They go to Facebook and you retarget them. Then boom, now you're really reaching them all over the place. So that's my current setup, right? People visited my site, they go to Facebook, they didn't book for whatever reason, they are retargeted, and then Yelp. A lot of people I think Yelp is going away, to be honest. It's just they're firing employees. They're not pulling any profit. It's being on a downhill, and I think they're gonna go away. I don't advertise as of now. I cancel my advertising budget with them, and so right now I'm just focusing on Google and Facebook. But if I were to start, I'll just focus on those two for sure.
And you mentioned starting out on Craigslist as a free posting place. Mm-hmm. What else kind of goes into and you talked about the importance of sharing your price in those Craigslist ads. What else goes into a strong Craigslist posting?
That is a great question. And like I mentioned in the video, Craigslist is you have to look at Craigslist. It's still a platform that generates a lot of traffic. Is one of the highest traffic sites on the U.S. So there's people there all the time, but a lot of them are window shoppers. Bargain hunters. Looking for discounts, and that's okay. When I go in there and I post my ad, I tell them everything I offer, but then I also tell my prices. That's gonna weed out every discount customer that is looking for a cheap service. And at that point, whoever takes the time to call, it's because they already saw my prices, and I don't have to haggle the price with them anymore. So I think displaying your prices on Craigslist, contrary to popular belief, like, don't put them because you want leads to call you. That's great, but a lot of those leads are going to just waste your time. Mm-hmm. How about you put the prices on front, and whoever is calling you is ready to make business.
On the Craigslist front, if you were giving advice for to a new cleaning business that might still be trying to build their reputation, what tips do you have to stand out on Craigslist?
One of the things you have to do now is just because other people are doing it. So the way Craigslist works, right? So you post an ad, and it usually gets buried within hours because more people are posting on top of your post, so you kind of have to repost again. I used to do like one, so the ad in Craigslist stays live for 30 days, and so I was posting like once a week, and then I'm like, no, my ad is getting buried. So what I do, and I think everybody should do it, is just I post every day. Like it now it's not free; it costs you $5, but it's still you get a good ROI. Because let's say if I post daily, Monday to Friday, that's 20 days. That 20 times 5, that's $100 in ad budget. And I promise you, you can get more than $1,000 worth in jobs out of that easily. So it has a huge return on investment, but most people don't use it correctly.
That's great. In the video, you also talked about Google Local Leads.
Yeah.
Can you give us some more information? One, about how that works, why it's so great for service businesses, and then also what advice you might have for getting the most out of that service.
Another fantastic question. Google Local Leads, it's a fairly new platform. I had tried Google Pay-per-click before, and it didn't really work for me. Just couldn't find someone that could set up a good campaign. But I remember I got an email from Google, and I checked and I said, hey, we're launching a new platform in selected areas, selected cities. I remember it was San Francisco and Seattle was one of the first ones. And it was like a pilot program, and it was pretty cool. That's what made me jump right on it, because the email offer said, hey, for the first month, we want you to try it out. We're going to charge you on a per call basis. We're going to charge you $22 per call. And you're going to get to challenge the people who don't book on the phone. So you're only going to get charged when people book from you. And I'm like, wow, of course I want to be part of that. You cannot lose. And so at that point, I jumped on board. I remember my initial budget, it was $500 for the month. And to my surprise, man, let me just quick look at my numbers, but that was September 2019. There you go. Here we go. So August of 2019, we made $66,695 total. We implemented Google Local Leads. In September, we did $87,198. So wow, a big jump. It is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, with only $500 budget, wow, what if I put 1,000? And so from there, you start scaling. And as of now, our current budget is $4,000 a month. So, but it started as a trial test. And believe me, everybody should get into that platform. And now you cannot challenge the beats anymore. Like at the beginning, you still get charged whether you sell the service or not. But the conversion rate on that platform is fantastic. It's easily more than 50% people convert, because they have a problem now. And if you think about it, my industry, the cleaning service industry, it's not like the customer is going to take or waste time to call another company to see what are the prices. It's not like they're remodeling the home, right? And then they have to call different ones. They have a problem. It's cleaning, and whoever answers the phone usually gets the customer. So anybody should definitely get into that, because these people are ready to buy. And I'm telling you, they don't haggle. Some of them will say, hey, I'm thinking about it, but that's okay, because I know someone a few minutes after you is going to call and is going to buy from you.
Wow. Right. Yeah, that's a really great service that definitely folks should get in on. First of all, have already been a million great tips. Also in the YouTube video, there were many more great tips. So just another plug for both that specific video and the UpFlip YouTube channel. Make sure you check that out, because in that video, another great tip you had was using text marketing during slow seasons. How do you build your contact list? Do you use an email sign up on your website, built mostly from leads, previous customers? Do you do that yourself, yes. Hire out? We got so many questions about using that text marketing.
Yes, for sure. So I use a CRM. It's a scheduling CRM. This CRM essentially, has all my customer data. I can tell whether these customers are recurring or are one-timers, or Airbnb customers. And what I do, every time I sign up someone, I apply a tag to that contact. I tag them as a recurring, as a one-time, or so move out of Airbnb. And then based on that tag, I download that list. Let's say in December, it's just coming up ahead, and it's gonna be slow. What I will do, I will download the list of people who booked one time for me during the last year, and then only to that tag, I will send a text offer, say, hey, we miss you. Here, get $50 off on your next cleaning service and get ready for the holidays. Reply yes if you want to take advantage of this offer. And you will not believe how many people reply yes for a $50 off. It's insane. I was doing that before. I already was practicing this, direct marketing, but through email. So I was using Active Campaign when we started. I knew it's so okay. So let me go back a little bit. Something that every business owner should definitely start from the very beginning is their customer list. Just like I said, it's a gold mine. If you start collecting customer data, then you can do these things over and over again. When you have slow weeks or months. At the time, I understand that the importance, and what I did, I was doing email marketing, and it works. It still works, but the open rates are very low, and they're going down the more people go into new technology. An email. Sometimes I have emails that haven't even opened in weeks, and I still haven't there, right? But a text, everybody gets the text, and everybody sees that, and they reply to you because it's easy just to reply yes, I wanna book. Versus an email, it gets buried between so many emails. So the response rate is 90% response rate on text versus 10% email. So that's when I started kind of like just dropping the email part and just focusing on text marketing.
For text marketing, what's the right frequency? How often are you reaching out to customers? And do you ever worry that you're going to run the risk of annoying them, or how do you, avoid annoying them?
So that happens actually. Yes, there are some people who say, "Hey, remember me from your calendar," so blah blah blah, and that's okay. You just all you do is just move into do not disturb stage so you don't bug them again. But aside from that, there's a lot of people say, yeah, I want to take advantage of it. Sometimes I'm overbooked, like, oh, I don't have any more bookings, but what about the following week, right? And then they'll usually like, oh, that's fine. So I would say, yes, there's some people who are going to say, remove me or don't ever text me again. But it's a very small percentage of that. So don't worry about it. It's the best way to reach out to your old customers and just fill your calendar again.
On your website, you've got a very impressive online booking system, very detailed, still streamlined and easy to use for the customer. Tell us about how the design of that form came to be. Did you do it? What tools did you use? And how does that information come through once it gets to you after they've submitted the form?
A fantastic question again. So the current system I use is called Booking Koala. I just recently migrated to this software. I was using another software called Launch 27. Launch 27 essentially is a WordPress plugin, and it will throw similar calculations to the ones that you see currently, but they sold that company to another company 2 years ago, and then they started making some internal changes that I was not happy with it. One of those ones was the fact that they used to connect. They still connect with Stripe, so to take payments, right? But then when they sold the company, they're like, hey, going forward, nobody's going to be able to use Stripe anymore. You're going to use our payment processor, and that's that. To make things worse, I actually had a loan with Stripe. So Stripe is pretty cool. I don't know if many people know this, but Stripe, when you use them and they see the amount of transactions that you pull, they will send you offers to say, hey, you can get advanced to $50,000, $100,000 with like no credit check. So that loan is based on the transactions that you run. So at that point, I had a loan for like $20,000, I remember. And the way you pay that back is that every time you run a car, they take an extra 8% of that towards that loan payment. So you don't even feel it. I love that. It's called Stripe Capital. And literally you apply today and then money's in your bank tomorrow. It's that easy. So in order to pay that loan, I had to have Stripe. And these guys are like saying, you're not going to get a Stripe anymore. I'm like, oh my God. So I had to look for other solution. And I tested a few ones. I don't remember all of the names for most of them, but I tested them. I actually tried them, tested them, and I found out to be Booking Koala the best solution. for what I was looking for. Not only that, it has more features than the previous one. So the learning curve, it's a little longer. And then one thing I would love them to have is like actually customer service. Everything is through email, so it takes forever to get a response. But it's a great system. It connects with everything, and so the way it works, right? So let's say you go to my booking, and then you said, "Oh, right, I'm gonna book a deep cleaning before Thanksgiving." So you enter your zip code, and then that will display the availability we have in your area. Then from there, you select the size of your home, how many bathrooms, how many half bathrooms, whether you want any extras, like maybe inside the oven and stuff like that. And it will throw you a calculation. And then you enter your credit card. You don't get charged. It only captures the credit card. And then on the day of the service, we provide the service, and then we run the card. But when you book, what happens when you book is that we get a notification by email with all your information. So it tells us your name, your email, how much you paid, and when is the cleaning day. And all we need to do is send you a text to confirm that you're confirmed for that. If we are overbooked for the time that you selected, or we say, hey, Alex, thank you for booking with us, but unfortunately the time that you book, it's already taken, so we can take care of you the following day or the day before, whatever the situation. So that's how I currently do it.
You talked about the advantages of using global customer service representatives, but are there any extra challenges that come with having that kind of distributed customer service team, like language, cultural barriers? And what advice do you have for hiring and managing international remote workers? How do you find them, and how do you pay them?
We're very lucky to live in this area, Alex, where the global economy is here, and we can do a lot of stuff online. I think really every business owner can benefit from outsourcing the customer service. We already experienced it. When you call Comcast, most likely it's on a person in the Philippines answering the phone. Call Verizon, call Walmart. Any of those big companies are already doing it, because it really saves you monies that you can put towards marketing or growing your company. So it's really, like everybody knows, the minimum wage is going to $15 an hour anytime soon. That's the minimum wage here in Seattle. I think it's 17 now. That really puts it opens a position for a lot of people in the Philippines who are very well prepared people. You touched one of the things, like a lot of conversations that I had with potential people who wants to hire virtual assistants. First question is like, how's their English? Do they, as far as cultural, the time difference, it's nighttime for them, it's daytime here. Well, one of the things I would like to mention on that. So the Philippines, actually, the first language, official language is actually English. So you don't have to worry about that. There's people who have accent, right? But that's why you do interviews before you hire them, and then you can make those decisions. But essentially, most of these people already have worked for American companies, so they understand the culture. They actually like to watch the same amount, the same movies we watch here. So Philippines it follows a lot what the American culture is, so they're very familiar with it. So that's another thing that you don't have to worry about, and so what I do, I go and hire, my virtual assistants from Online Jobs PH. It's a marketplace where you can go, you can sign up. It's going to cost you, if I remember correctly, $29 per month. You only need to do it for 1 month, really. But once you create your account, you create your job post. In this case, my first job post was like, hey, I need a customer service representative, and these are the duties that you're going to have to do, and this is how, a little bit of description of what I'm looking out of them. When I posted my ad, I got 103 applicants, and I was like, wow, that's overwhelming. Now I have to go through 103 applicants. So what I did after that is like, you know what? I'm going to reply to them and say, hey, could you record yourself naturally, your voice? Say, don't read a script. Tell me who you are and what do you like in 20 seconds or less, and send me a recording. I think about 28 people took the time to do that. And then out of that, I just had to kind of just listen to it and say, hey, you know what? I like the voice of this one. I like the tone of this one. I like that, you just feel it, when you hear someone. And so at that point, I said, okay, I reach out to those people who say, hey, that I like, all the people are like, no, maybe not. That's not what I'm looking for. So I reached out to the people who I did like, and then it was 8 people. And out of 8 people, I made an appointment for like a Zoom meeting, and only like 3 showed up. So at that point, I was like, oh man, this is going to be easy. So I already knew who it was. And it was a girl. She was very smart. She used to work for Chase Bank, disputing, in charge of credit card disputes. So I'm like, oh, you're used to, handle disputes. So like, yes, perfect fit for me. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what I did. Go to online jobs PH, be descriptive, put exactly what you want out of that person. One thing I would like to mention, and I see this error over and over again on those job posts. You get a post that says, hey, I want a virtual assistant who's going to answer the calls, use Photoshop, use Canva, run ads. Like, really, like, that's a unicorn. You're talking about a unicorn. It's very rare that you're going to find a person that has that many skills. So focus on one. What are you trying to solve? Whether it's customer service or you want to do someone to do marketing, right? In my case, I started with customer service. Say, hey, I want people who knows how to answer the phone. I don't care if you don't know how to use Photoshop or you don't know how to use Canva. If you're good on the phone, that's all I care. Then, you can train those skills. You can make videos of yourself doing it and say, hey, look, this is how you do these things. And then you start teaching them more and more. So yes, do not go and post, hey, I want a Superman lady that's going to do everything for my business and it's going to be hands-free. It's not going to happen. Be specific, be clear about it, and be upfront. But also I wanted to mention some of the downfalls, right? I will say the downfalls because there's pros, there's cons. One of the cons will be the country is like 99% Catholic, meaning they're very religious. So religious holidays, it was more like a federal holiday for them, if that makes sense. So, and they have a lot of them. So that means a lot of days off that they want because they want to spend with their families and then celebrate their holidays. So I will say that's the only downfall, right? That I see. But compared to what you're getting in return, that's nothing. They get like 15 days or 20 days out of the year off because of holidays. That's okay with me. And another one is the power interruption. They lose power fairly often. But what I did, and I don't recommend if you're not sure about doing this, don't do it, right? But I did, and I knew this was the right person to do. So what I did, I sent them $1,000. Say, hey, get me a generator. I don't want to be offline. I want you to be online. Even if it doesn't work, you get to keep it. But I really want to give you all the tools that you need to give me a good service. And so, yeah, that's that's another way to kind of overcome one of the common problems. Also, it's a little island, so they get a lot of typhoons. Hurricanes, so lose power over and over again. It's just the area.
You respond to every online review that a customer posts. How do you keep up with that? And is there, do you have a person on staff who's responsible for maintaining your online reputation?
That's correct. So I have another virtual employee that is in charge of exactly that. So it's in charge of responding to every single review. It's in charge of posting content on my Facebook page and on my Google My Business page. Tips and tricks and how to clean your oven, how to do. So it's more like in charge of publishing content. And then whenever a review comes in, he's like, hey, go and reply back to that person. And I think that really has, set us apart. Customers can see that they're not just a number. We really take care of them. You really appreciate them before, during, and after the service.
The owners of Presently Moving Cleaning Company commented on the video on the YouTube channel. They do a large volume of move-in, move-out cleaning, and we're wondering if you had any advice about getting into more residential home cleaning jobs, and what's your suggestion to land more residential clients? About what percentage of your jobs are move-in, move-out?
That's a great question. So all these jobs will come through Google Local Leads. When you sign up into Google Local Leads, and you get approved, you submitted your insurance, you get a background check and everything checks out, then you're presented with 4 options. What type of jobs you want? Standard cleaning, so on and off, deep cleanings, on and off, and move-outs, on and off. So if it's a moving company, what I would recommend is sign up for that platform, Google Local Leads, go inside and you still only want move-out jobs, because essentially that goes hand in hand to what he's currently doing. Now, if he wants to get into deep cleanings or the recurring cleanings, just turn back on the other options, and then that will also get him the type of leads he's getting. So to answer the other question, say what percentage of people are move-outs? It's high. It's actually, we get a lot of move-outs, but I will say 40% of our jobs are every month, like move-outs. People moving all the time.
And then more viewers wanted to know your secrets to landing Airbnb clients. Are there any particularly effective strategies or platforms to reach Airbnb clients?
Yes, and everybody who's listening to this podcast really pay attention. But it's very it's very cool. You're gonna sign up for a software. It's called Turnover BNB. It's free. It's free to sign up, and it's not like Thumbtack. You also get on Thumbtack, right? You can say, I do Airbnbs, and you can get jobs from that. But that, in Thumbtack, you pay just to respond to the customer. In Turnover Airbnb, you get requests all the time, right? Oh, there's a person, a host who's looking for a cleaner, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and the average amount that he's looking to spend. And then you can choose to get it or not get it. And then you only get charged 1% of the amount you charge them, and Turnover BNB actually keeps that 1%. So that's their fee for having this marketplace. So I'm spilling out, guys. Don't be looking for, paying marketing. Go to Turnover BNB, sign up, and you're going to get at least 4 or 5 leads a day. You can choose the ones you want, and you're only going to pay 1% of the amount that you charge, so which is fantastic.
A lot of businesses are struggling right now to maintain a full staff. Can you share some advice for finding and attracting great house cleaners? Do you have any job search sites or talent pools that have been reliable for you in the past year?
Oh God! So that's a common problem most businesses are facing, right? So I've tried all. I've tried Facebook jobs. I've tried Indeed. I heard about ZipRecruiter on my last meeting. I've heard about them, but I never tried them. So I'm gonna try that. I don't know. I cannot tell you anything about ZipRecruiter, but I've tried Indeed, Facebook groups, Craigslist ads, and then referrals through. So my cleaner said, "Hey, bring me someone. If that person stays with me for more than a month, then I'll give you $250 as a bonus." So that helps too. Reach out to your own staff and say, "Hey, I'm going to give you some money." You have to motivate them as well. And then who else is better than themselves to tell the other person, "Hey, this is what I do on a daily basis." Right. So when they come to you, usually they say, but I guess right now what I've done, because it's really hard, I increase my prices quite a bit. I noticed that that's one of the big motivators. You want someone to go and do cleaning and, get wet and get dirty. I mean, you have to really pay them well. That's how I currently manage. I pay a little more than I believe what most companies in my area. And that really helps me to keep the good talent.
As a business leader, how do you determine where you need to be hands-on and where you can delegate? And then how do you delegate effectively?
That's another great question, Alex. I'm still learning how to manage that, right? Because here's the thing: when you start a business and you start from nothing, you kind of become like, the wear all hats, right? You do everything. And then you're so used to, because your business is operating the way you want it, because you're doing everything. And it's really hard to outsource or delegate, because you don't feel like that person is going to do the same job that you do. And it's just, I guess, it's more like a mindset. You have to trust people to be able to learn themselves, even if they make mistakes, right? And so my wife was one of the, this is a funny story. When I started doing, my research about outsourcing, my wife was totally against it. She's like, "What are you talking about? What are you, like, people from overseas are going to be taking credit card numbers from my customers? Are you insane? What are you doing? You cannot do that." And I'm like, just wait. That's what they do all the time. So, and then because she told me that, then I was overthinking, like, that's true. What if they, use a credit card? There's a reason. Start overthinking it. And so I didn't do it for a long time. I actually keep doing it myself. But eventually, I was like, you know what? I need to start trusting people. I need to delegate. In order for me to grow the business, I cannot be doing everything. I need to step out and start delegating the things that take me the most amount of time. And one of them was the customer service. Have to be sitting down in my computer all day. Or if I drive around, it's really hard to take customer service calls when you're driving. It's not professional. So I needed to really find one. And then that's what made me push. And then when I realized, they made mistakes, it's not all perfect and, you're going to get fantastic results. No, they made mistakes, some costly mistakes still, but it's a learning process. And that's when I learned, you have to give an opportunity to people so they can, improve themselves, and then they understand the business. And then it's just like anything, takes time. But then once I did that, I had my first customers. I'm like, wow, I can actually delegate more stuff. So now I delegated, like the bookkeeping, definitely that's outsourced. Now this is what I'm currently doing. I'm literally compiling a list of what else can I outsource. I don't want to do it anymore. I saw the potential behind that. That really frees you a lot of time, especially now, since I'm getting so many people reaching out to me. I can take care of them. They say, hey, yes, this is what I recommend you. This is what you should do, blah, blah, blah. You know what? My business is still running without me. That's really the angle for everyone. It's not about the money. I have some business owners that are millionaires, but they work like a dog. And they did like, it's not the angle. The angle is not make a lot of money. The angle is to have freedom. And that's what I'm chasing, right? And it's just having my business run without me so I can have the time to do whatever I want. That's the angle.
All of it's my understanding that all of your cleaners are employees. I was just wondering if you could kind of give us the overview of what the difference between a 1099 contractor is and a full-time employee from a business owner's perspective, and when it might be appropriate to use one versus the other.
Great question. So generally speaking, a subcontractor is someone who has a company. They have insurance. They are their own entity. You cannot provide them with uniforms. You cannot tell them how to do stuff. You cannot tell them to be at any area at any specific time. You cannot provide them with supplies. If you do any of those things I mentioned, that makes them your employee. If you tell someone to be at a certain area at a certain time, that's employee. You give them uniform, that's employee. You tell them how to do things, that's your employee. Employee, you have full control of them. You can train them, you can tell them what to do, you can tell them where to go, where to do, how to do it. You can constantly train them. Essentially, you have more control. And what I like about this model, it's simple. I actually started with the subcontractor model initially. You make more money because you only pay a percentage to the cleaners and you keep another percentage for you to run the operation. You don't do the cleanings yourself, but it's very hard to be able to grow your brand with good reputation, because essentially you're relying on other company to do a good job, so your company gets the good review, right? And because you're gonna tell them how to do things, you really have to find someone who's really good at what they do. And I've seen other people doing it in my area, that you can find it, but you always have the target from the IRS, right? Because you're not paying employee, you're not paying payroll taxes, you're not paying workers' compensation, and all that money that you're saving essentially is your share, which is great. But if you ever get audited, and then if for whatever reason just one of those things I mentioned, they find that you violated, they can go say, all right, based on our findings, you are misclassifying your workers, and therefore, since you started operating since 2019, we're going to go back and we're going to calculate the amount of money you owe in payroll taxes, and that will totally destroy someone in the future, totally, because these fines are not cheap. It was only 9 months total of work, and we got fined $12,000 when we did that.
Wow.
We switched to the employee model. You make less. Realistically speaking, it's 15% net. Ideally, 20%. And it varies. And the only thing you can control is the labor, right? That's your biggest expense. But then guess what? I get to tell them, do a good job. This is how I want to clean. This is how. So I have full control. I don't have a target on my back from the IRS. The IRS is happy because I'm paying my fair share of taxes, and they don't bug me, and I know they're not going to bug me. So it's more like I see it. That's basically the difference, right? Versus one versus the other. You make more on the subcontractor side, but there's always a risk, and then you never know. What if you have a multi-million-dollar company, and then the IRS decides that you're being misclassifying all this time those employees? You're going to be in a lot of trouble. For me, employee is the way to go.
Great. So this brings us to a section of our show that we call the Fan Blitz questions. So I'm going to kind of rapid fire some questions from our YouTube channel to you. I'm going to challenge you to do it answer it in 15 words. 20 seconds, 15 words. I believe in you. You can do it. Right. It's going to be awesome.
Okay.
So
I'm ready.
To dive in, MSway is asking, how can I automate my cleaning business and operate like an absentee owner? Which for those that, I'll give you a chance to think here how you're going to answer this question. For those that are unsure, an absentee business owner is someone who doesn't personally manage the business, but owns it or doesn't live in the community in which the business operates. All right, Cristobal, how do they do it?
Definitely hire virtual assistants, virtual employees. That's the way to go. That's how you want to, that's what you want to get. So definitely do more research about getting a virtual assistant. Test yourself one, get your feet wet. It might not go right the first time, but that's okay. Try again. This is by far the fastest way to automate any business because you can delegate almost anything and you only take care of the most important decisions.
Big Poppy is asking, when you first started, did you do the work yourself with your wife or did you hire cleaners right off the bat? And when you first started, were you taking one job at a time or maximizing your ad expense to receive a nice workload for the week?
Okay, so when we started, yes, I was only doing Craigslist, so we were getting maybe like a job a day, maybe 2 jobs a day. At the time, my wife was doing the cleaning, so I was working at the dealership. My wife will go and do the cleaning herself, by herself. Then we started getting more bookings, and she hired her best friend. I remember Veronica, and so Veronica was a great asset at the time because she actually had worked for another cleaning company. So she actually taught us a few things that we didn't know. And so by the third month, that's when, 2 people are bringing 18,000, like, I want to be part of that. So I quit. And then, yes, I did some cleanings myself at the beginning.
Fernando's asking how to scale and profit from 1 to 2 employees to another team to work at the same time. So I guess that initial first jump from one cleaning team to 2 cleaning teams.
It really is based on little by little. Like I said, the first time, it was my wife. Then within a few days, we hired Veronica. Then Veronica and her was able to handle, at least 3 houses per day. I remember that was the top. It was 3 houses per day, what a team of 2. And then you'll notice people will start calling you and say, oh, I want Thursday, but like, Thursday I already have bookings. I cannot, what about Friday? No, I really need it on Thursday. And then they leave, right? And that's when you're like, wow, now I need help to be able to put more jobs on a same day. So that's how you scale. It doesn't take time. It's actually very fast. And so don't get discouraged. Oh, it's going to take that. No, just answer the phone. That's one, right? If you don't answer the phone, they're not going to buy from you. So answer the phone. Be sure to answer the phone. You will get most of those jobs. So that will help you hire faster so you can grow quicker.
M. Gill is asking, do you pay your cleaners by the hour or by the job? And what other employment benefits do you provide?
That's a good question. So I only pay per hour, and then I reimburse mileage if they drive their cars. They actually drive our cars. We have 5 cars, but then sometimes they drive their own, so I reimburse that, on the check. And there's no benefits. I'm actually looking into that for next year. I want to offer my cleaners health insurance, dental insurance, and eye doctor. So definitely look into that, and potentially, I don't know. I'm not sure if next year I'm able to complete that. But also retirement plans. I really want my company to be a place that, people want to work for me. They're like, hey, they take care of them, they pay good and they have benefits. That's what I want to do because I want to position myself as the go-to guy here.
Boris the Geezer is asking, in the beginning, did you work with any other companies subcontracting work that you didn't have equipment for to provide that service?
I have done that. Now that I currently have employees, not many times, but the most recent time was in April 30th. I remember that day was hell. I think we had like 32 houses to clean that day and not enough staff. Wow. So what I did, I literally call a few companies, go say, hey, can you help me, do these jobs and I'll share a percentage. And they're like, yeah, we'd love to help. So I've done that a few times whenever it's like too much work and not enough people.
Adrian Nasurik asked, how do you know that the Airbnb owners are actually paying you the 10 to 20% and not less? Do you have access to the total number of what the Airbnb makes?
Yes. So you draft an agreement where you're going to say at the end of the month, you're going to send me a sales sheet of the transactions or bookings of the unit. That way I know how much you make.
That's perfect. That's a great way to do it.
Yes.
Carlos Pass, this is our final Fan Blitz question for you. Carlos Pass is asking, how did you go from doing the cleaning to a real registered business in the process to get Airbnb co-hosts? After watching the interview, I got motivated, tried to call an Airbnb host and offer my services, but I got bombarded with tons of questions that I had no idea what to say.
It doesn't take too much time for you to, I mean, you can literally jump, let's say you and your wife or your partner or whatever, you can do the cleaning yourself. And I'm telling you, within a few months, you will literally not have to do that anymore. You'll hire people. So it's fairly fast. And as far as co-hosting, yes, so it's quite a bit. It's not as simple as it sounds, but essentially you want to become a property manager. A property manager has to have a realtor license, right, in order to do property management. But you're not going to become a property manager. You're more like becoming a host. But what I will do, so you get familiar with the things that you have to do, so you answer correctly, go and look at Google property management on your area, and then look at the websites, and then look at what things they do. Hey, they take care of the yard, they take care of the small repairs, they take care of literally all the small things. That's your duty. You have to make sure that the drains are flushing, the toilets are working, that there's lights everywhere, that the batteries have lights, like the remotes, that there's internet, there's enough speed. What else? I mean, that there's no one hair in the unit, so it's like pristine, clean, that smells clean. So you have to answer the guest communication. Sometimes the guests arrive 12 in the morning and like, hey, I cannot access the unit. Oh, okay. I have an extra key hidden in behind the home. So you have to respond to customer inquiries. So essentially, you become like the person in contact in between the host and the guest.
That was it for our Fan Blitz questions. So thank you for those incredible answers, and also thank you to everybody who's commenting on our videos and asking those questions. A few more questions here for you, Cristobal. Yeah. Cleaning company manager Delilah Mast was very impressed with your training. She wants to know how you train employees to clean up to your high standards, and how do you communicate a culture of excellence to new team members?
Great questions. So yeah, culture. You have to work on the company culture from an early stage. At the beginning, I was not paying attention for that, and we had a lot of turnover because we all want to be part of something. We are tribal people, we're tribal animals, so we like to be a group. And if you tell me, hey, this is my vision, and I share with them every time, I get a new employee, say, hey, we want to be the top cleaning company in our area, and that means we're gonna always strive to give our best every day, and we really want to get as many reviews as possible. You sell them that vision, right? And then they feel part of it. And then I have a leaderboard in the garage. So they come and, if there's a complaint or a good review, it's there. And then when people coming back from work, they're like, oh, Team Cynthia, got a 5-star review, like, $40 tip. And that, like, the other team's like, oh, I want to be part of that. And then tomorrow they do a good job. So, yeah, it's very important. Share with them your vision. If you don't share your vision with them, they don't know where you want to go, and they just show up to work like just to make hours. So no, really motivate them to see, hey, you're making a difference. We're cleaning people's homes, we're making people healthy, we're really making a difference in our community, and really want to be the best ones at it. We're professionals, and then it sounds cliche, but if you repeat that over again, we take them to picnics. We bowling sometimes, or we have dinners, we have gatherings, and then if you invite them, you invite their family. They just feel appreciated, and so that has helped me quite a bit. And what was the first question? That was for the culture part. And what was the first question?
Yeah, I mean, I think how you train employees to clean up to your high standards.
Oh, the training, the training. Yeah. So this is so what I currently do is so I have employees that have been with us for quite some time. So they're usually the managers. They're they know how to do everything. Whenever I have someone, I send them with them, and then I have that person training like hands-on. I mean, I don't care if you have never cleaned a toilet in your life, but today you will be your first day, and you're gonna go with her. And so it's like hands-on training. We're actually working on creating like a video training. So starting next month, this month we're already in November. I'm gonna be shooting how to clean an oven, how to clean a fridge, how to clean a window, how to clean the wood floors, and then create a library of how to do everything. And then essentially, I'm going to have every time I hire someone, I'll say, hey, log into this portal, watch the videos because that's the fundamentals. And then tomorrow I'll see you 7 in the morning because you're ready to roll. So that's essentially what I want to do.
When you're looking at suppliers, how do you evaluate the value and quality level of a supplier, whether it's for cleaning products, for a uniform service?
Yes.
How do you evaluate those vendors?
That takes time, right? And I have a nice list that I can share as far as where I buy my stuff. But at the beginning, I literally went to every store. I went to the dollar store. I went to Walmart, Target, Lowe's, Home Depot. You name it, all the stores. And then you buy products and then you test them. To answer that, I actually have different supplies. I some of the products I buy are from Target, some of them are in Walmart, some of them are in Lowe's or the Home Depot, and some of them are on Amazon. So it's kind of like all over the place. And so that list I have is just because I tested multiple ones, and those are the ones that I found to work best.
You mentioned in the Fan Blitz question that some of your cleaners might drive a company car or they may take their personal car and you reimburse the gas. Do you have any extra insurance or licensing needs that you have to go through
No,
for that?
All you need to have is a full cover insurance, so they're fully insured, and that's all you need. And then obviously they so we use this app. It's called Mile IQ. Oh, this is not used for cleaners, for everyone. Definitely download it. I'm not getting paid for it, but essentially it's an app that you put on your phone, and it detects when you're moving, when you're driving, and then by the time you stop, it pops up a notification and say, classify this drive, whether it's a personal or business. And so they do that, and then the app actually sends me a spreadsheet, and I see how many miles they drove, and then I just made the calculation. I send that to my bookkeeper, and the bookkeeper adds that into the payroll, and then they get reimbursed through that.
What systems are you using on the administrative side of your business to track all of these different workers in different locations, different feeds of information?
One software.
What software are you using?
Slack. It's Slack. Beautiful. That's it. Slack connects with literally everything. And if it doesn't connect, you can use Zephyr to connect. So I literally have a channel. So I have my Slack, right? And I know the listeners are very familiar with it, but essentially it's a chat program. And there's a free version. You can start with free, but if you stay with free, the messages get deleted after some days. I'll encourage you to pay $6 per user, which is fantastic, and you get to keep all the messages. But essentially, what I have Queen Bee Cleaning, and then I have probably like 15 channels, cancellations, new bookings, complaints, reschedules, new jobs. Let me just read more. Upselling, breaks, something broke, like accidents, updates, reschedule requests, quality checks, price increases, payments, refunds, gift cards. Literally everything goes through that happens in my cleaning company. I have a channel for that. And then whenever something's happened, they just reply there, and then it's a cancellation. And I just quick see who canceled. If I know the person, maybe I can reach out to them and say, hey, why did you cancel? Come back. Don't be cheap, right? And so, man, I can literally go sip a margarita and I can see what's happening on my phone. That's how you do it.
That's the dream, really. We got a ton of comments in the last video from other cleaning business owners seeking guidance and mentorship. You've mentioned folks have already started reaching out to you. Do you have mentors? What's your go-to source when you need business advice?
That is a great question. I was not expecting, to be honest, and it's funny. It never occurred in my mind that there will be people interested in learning what I know. And it seems that there's quite a bit of people that would like to learn, not just what I do, but just certain things of what I do to run my business. So yes, I'm putting my coaching program. Essentially, so there's two things to this. So I noticed that a lot of people need help, basic help from really starting and opening a business license. There's people who don't even know how to do that. So I'm creating a small course. It's very concrete, abstract. It's not bull crap. It's going to say, do this, get this. Do this, and you get this. Very short, very, very hands-on. So that's to help people who are looking to start, right, that don't know anything. And then I'm going to have a second part where I'm going to be more advanced, right? I'm going to teach people how to recruit people, how to find people. Literally everything I do, I want to teach that. But so if you guys want to sign up for early access, go to growyourcleaningcompany.com, sign up for early access. It's going to be free, actually, believe it or not. I'm just going to give my my knowledge out there. I really want people to take action. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I really want other people to succeed and to be able to take action, right? And then to really go and do it.
We recently did another interview with a different business owner, Mike Andes, who's had a ton of success franchising. Mm-hmm. Have you considered franchising Queen Bee Cleaning? Why or why not?
I have. It's funny. That's another thing. A lot of people say, "Hey, do you offer franchises?" I mean, I don't know. And I actually have a meeting with a potential company next Monday. They reached out to me yesterday, and they're like, "Hey, we saw your video, we saw your business model. We are interested in talking to you about potentially partnering up and franchise your business." And I'm like, "What?" So yes, that's something in the works. So I'm gonna have the conversation this coming Monday, see where that goes. But yes, that's also coming soon.
So to wrap this up, what's next for your business? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
My God, this is, I think this is my goal. I share a little bit of it in the video, but the next year I'm planning to add carpet cleaning to my business because we get a lot of requests. We get a lot of move-ups, and those move-ups require that we clean the carpet. We do have portable machines, like the ones that you rent on the store, but those doesn't do a good job, and they usually leave the carpet wet. Realtors don't like that. The realtors, they want the carpet dry within hours. So in order to do that, we need to have a machine. It's like $22,000 machine. Plus another $22,000 for the truck. So you're talking $44,000. So that's definitely going to happen on January. We're adding the carpet cleaning service. So that's one. And then mid March, like in spring, we are adding pressure washing and soft washing of the exteriors. It just made sense to me, right? I don't know if you're familiar with this concept, but it's called Kaizen, and essentially it's a Japanese word, but essentially it's the Toyota. They make small changes that you can do today, right now, and then so you can see what happens, right? And so those are the things. I already have a list of customers that are currently clean. We clean their home, so it's really easy for me just to say, hey, now we have pressure washing, and if you're a 5-star first-time buyer, you get $50 off, and then boom, just get my feet on it. You already have the customer base. So that's definitely in the next 2 to 3 years.
Last question for you that we like to ask every entrepreneur. What business book had the biggest impact on you and why?
10X, the 10X book by Grant Cardone. What I like about the book is it really tells you, it means that 10X, 10X, if you do 10 times more than anyone else, let's say, today, I was supposed to talk only to 2 customers. I'm going to talk to 10 customers, right? And tomorrow I'm going to do the same thing. And tomorrow again, it's always everything more than anyone else. When I started implementing that, I really saw that I really set myself apart from a lot of other people that were almost at my same level as far as, other cleaning businesses. I will say that book, it really changed my life. And then you can implement it. And even if you don't do 10X, 5X. That's more than, other people. So you will always be ahead.
That is fantastic advice. Cristobal Mondragon, this has been just so full of great information. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll gladly have you again as more and more growth continues to happen. And everybody out there, make sure you check out our blog by going to upflip.com/blog, where we share some useful resources and tools for business owners. And make sure you check out our YouTube channel, where we showcase some of the most successful small business owners that are out there. And folks, we've got more amazing interviews coming out. And make sure you spread the word about this podcast and tune in every Monday morning for another episode of UpFlip. Have a great week, everybody.
See you guys. Bye-bye.